Haley, do you have stuff to say about maybe sandwiches or tapas? The Earl of Sandwich was an interesting character. Did,
I've heard of him as well. Yeah.
did you know that the Earl of Sandwich, who lived a long time, 1718, 1792, his real name was John Montagu. He was the
Yeah.
fourth Earl of Sandwich. And he was also the postmaster. He was a statesman. He was the Lord Admiralty of the Navy. He was the Secretary of State. But also, I think what he was a gambler. And he couldn't sit still long enough to eat. So they would bring him pieces of a sandwich, like meat and bread, and he invented the sandwich. But you know what's cool about this guy, too, the sandwich guy? He's the one who sponsored Captain Cook.
Yeah. Captain James Cook of the
Yep.
Starfleet Enterprise. No, that's someone else.
Yeah. The other James Cook, he discovered Hawaii.
He did.
He discovered Hawaii. He loved Hawaii so much that he's buried there.
Yeah, right. Also,
No, it's true. He died there.
Yeah. I went to the site where he died. I could tell you that story sometime. They have they have this big monument there where he died on his other side of the bay, and I borrowed this kayak from these like kayak people, and I kayaked over to the monument, right? But when you're going across this bay, you have the monument you can look at, right? But when I turned around to go back, there was no landmark. I go, how do I find these poor people who loaned me their kayak? So I had to like, it was, and it was getting dark and the waves were going out, and I was going, oh my, I'm Captain Cook, here I come, make room for me.
Oh my God!
So that monument
I would never
for both
borrow
me and Cook.
kayak. You know what? The ocean. The ocean is scary. It just is.
The ocean
I don't
is scary.
Like it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what's living down there. Okay, so we've got sandwiches. We've got we've got French toast. What else? Sandwich guy, you want to say?
Yeah. So the one thing that someone did say about him is seldom has any man held so many offices and accomplished so little, right? So apparently, I think one of the things about all these men we talk about and women like Isabella and Joan of Arc is like they all have attention deficit disorder, right? They just have boundless amount of energy and they could just not focus. They're like doing one thing and then they're doing another thing, and then like Alexander the Great, let's go out and conquer the world, and they get people to follow them, right? So I think the problem with a modern society is like they're treating all these people with attention deficit disorder with a lot of energy, right? These kids who are bounding off the walls, like those are the next Alexander the Greats. Like let them be, right? Anyways,
yeah, maybe.
So yeah, that's
maybe they
the
just
Earl of
need rid
Sandwich.
one.
So and there still is an Earl of Sandwich. You can go to England and go have a sandwich with the Earl of Sandwich, if you wanted to.
And there's a franchise that sells sandwiches called Earl of Sandwich. That's the first thing that comes up when you Google it.
I wonder if the real Earl of Sandwiches gets royalties. I doubt it. He
Probably
should,
doesn't
he
need
should
it.
try. This
All
is
right,
the whole franchise things.
I guess the last one on our list is tapas, and
yeah.
everybody like.
One last thing, Earl of Sandwich. There are islands named the Islands of Sandwich,
right?
And they were named by Cook, Admiral Cook, because of his friendship with the Earl of Sandwich. So not only does he get a sandwich named after him, he gets islands named after him, right? So there you go. You can have a sandwich on the Earl of Sandwich. You can have a sandwich on the Isle of Sandwich with the Earl of Sandwich, if you wanted to, if you could arrange that.
And that dude
okay, that's it.
And that guy actually did nothing. He just sat there and he liked to gamble.
He did nothing. He never went to the Isle of Sandwich.
All right. So anyway, but he stayed seated. That was the important thing. So tapas. Can we talk about tapas? Okay, so tapas. Everybody knows tapas except me. I only know tacos. But
tapas.
So King Alfonso the 10th, You know,
Yeah, he was the
this is
man.
almost as bad as the Chinese thing, because this guy reigned in the height of the Middle Ages, right? In the 1200s.
Yeah,
Genghis Khan
yeah.
was running around. We should talk about
Genghis
Genghis
Khan was
Khan.
running around.
You know,
Yeah.
Genghis Khan, he loved chamomile.
Never had a sandwich in his life.
Yeah,
Or maybe he did.
Genghis Khan loved chamomile tea. There's nothing better to relax
Calm him down.
after pillaging and raping than a nice cup of chamomile tea. But anyway,
Yeah,
King Alfonso X, what does he have to do with tapas? Does anybody know?
I do.
Okay.
I know. I've been to Spain. I know all about this, right? Tapas are huge in Spain. They go. It's vamos a tapas. Vamos a tapas. That means let's go get tapas, right? And what it is, it's more like we would say, let's go get drinks, right? They would say, let's go get tapas, because that means you're going to drink, right? But you're also going to get these little fancy dishes with little food like sardines and cheese and grapes, meat, ham, thousands and thousands of little dishes. We can get like a picture of all the different types of tapas. But how it started was with Alfonso X of Castile. It was before Spain was united, right? Ferdinand and Isabella are the assholes who united Spain and kicked out the Jews and kicked out the Muslims and started the Inquisition and said we're gonna be one good Catholic country, and that's all we're gonna be, is one good Catholic country. That's it. But before, 200 years before them, there was this guy called Alfonso X, and he was the dude. He was the dude before the award. He was the original dude, right? Like the dude abides. Kids, that reference from the great Lebowski. So unlike Ferdinand and Isabella, he said, Muslims, come on in. Jews, come on in. Protestants, everybody is welcome. Come on, everybody come in and bring your books, bring your languages, bring your scholarships. Because at this time, Europe was in the friggin' Middle Ages, right? And the Muslims empires were going through their renaissance, right? They had Aristotle, they had Plato, they were inventing algebra, right? They were inventing trigonometry. They were like years ahead of everybody. So he invited them all, and he was getting them to translate Aristotle and Plato from the Arabic to Spanish, right? Not from the Greek, but from Arabic.
They called him his nickname was the translator.
The translator, because he got everybody translating. And not only that, he invented sherry, right? The drink, right? So he was a drinking man, high class. Maybe he didn't invent it, he popularized it. And he invented tapas. Because what he didn't, so there were a lot of little bars around Castile at that time, and they didn't serve any food. People were just going there to drink and recite existential love poetry, and then getting in fights and bar fights. He says, well, he wanted to raise it up a level, right? So he says, anybody who's selling drinks anywhere, they have to serve food with it. That's the law, because we have food, and if you have food and drinks, you're going to be talking, you're going to be sharing food. And so all the little bartenders go, well, what's the easiest way to comply with this regulation, right? So what they did, once they had it, they go, well, here's the glass. There's your food. I've covered the regulation, right? So the people who are like, and tapa in Spain means a top, to put a top on something, like tapa tu ojitos. I mean, close your eyes. So that was the basic regulation, and it worked, because you were technically serving food with your wine.
That's
but then someone.
We're less than a minute to go here before this.
Okay.
So it's still like that today, because you have bars that have a liquor license where they have to serve food.
Yeah. But then, basically, so some of the next bar put cheese on their bread and go, well, let's go. Everybody went to his bar, and somebody put an olive on his, and everybody went to their bar. And someone said, well, let's put ham, cheese, and olive. And then the Earl of Sandwich showed up, and he just put his friggin' sandwich on top of the glass. And then everybody went to his bar. And it was this big competition until eventually it just, got out of control. And they said, forget the wine, just give me the tapa. And that's how it happened. That's the story I'm sticking with.
All right. That's great.
And they put egg on it. It was the same egg that Francis had, or will have.